Bring it on, kid!
The final bell rang. The crowd stood in absolute silence, not sure what they had witnessed. The judges' scorecards didn't matter anymore. This fight had transcended winning and losing. The announcer read the decision. By unanimous decision, the winner by technical superiority, Master Kenji Yamamoto. But before the crowd could react, Manny Pacquiao raised Master Yamamoto's hand himself, then bowed deeply, holding the bow for several long seconds. When he rose, there were tears in his eyes, not tears of defeat, but tears of gratitude. "You taught me something tonight that no boxing coach ever could," Manny said, his voice picked up by the microphone. "You taught me that there's always something more to learn. After 25 years of boxing, I thought I knew everything about fighting, but you showed me I was still a student." Master Yamamoto placed a gentle hand on Manny's shoulder. "Pacquiao-san, you honor me with your humility, but you must understand, you did not lose tonight. You transformed. The warrior who entered this ring is not the same warrior who stands here now. That is the true victory." The post-fight interview became legendary. Manny explained to the world what had happened. "Master Yamamoto didn't just beat me with technique. He showed me that fighting angry, fighting with only power and speed, has a ceiling. But fighting with understanding, with breath control, with calmness, that has no ceiling. I've been a world champion for decades, but tonight I became a student again. And that's the greatest gift a fighter can receive." In the weeks that followed, something remarkable happened. Manny Pacquiao didn't retire in shame. Instead, he trained with Master Yamamoto for 6 months in Japan, learning samurai principles of breath control, mental clarity, and technique refinement. When he returned to boxing, he was different. His speed was the same, his power was the same, but his approach was transformed. He won his next 3 fights by decision, not by knockout, using minimal energy, perfect timing, and a calmness that his opponents found unsettling. Sports commentators called it the Yamamoto effect, the integration of ancient martial wisdom with modern boxing technique. Master Yamamoto became an international sensation, not for defeating a legend, but for how he did it, with respect, with teaching, with honor. His dojo in Kyoto had a waiting list of over 5,000 students from around the world. The real lesson wasn't about who won or lost. It was about humility, the willingness to learn from unexpected sources, and the understanding that mastery is not a destination but an endless journey. Manny Pacquiao said it best in his final interview about the fight. "I thought I was stepping into the ring to defend boxing, but I learned that all martial arts are one family. We're all seeking the same thing, to be better today than we were yesterday." Master Yamamoto reminded me of that. He reminded all of us. The most powerful victories don't come from defeating others. They come from defeating our own limitations, our own pride, our own certainty that we already know everything. Master Kenji Yamamoto taught the world that night. Respect transcends competition, teaching transcends winning, and the greatest warriors are those humble enough to remain students forever. If this story inspired you to approach life with more humility and openness to learning, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Share in the comments below. What's the most important lesson you've learned from an unexpected teacher? Your story might inspire someone else today. Remember, the strongest people are those brave enough to admit they don't know everything. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep honoring those who teach us. The warrior's path is not about being undefeated. It's about being unteachable. Manny reset, moving laterally, tried to cut off the ring. He threw another combination, faster this time, from a different angle. Again, Master Yamamoto's minimal movement made every punch miss. He was reading Manny's breathing, the slight shoulder dip before each punch, the eye movement that telegraphed direction. Freddie Roach screamed from the corner, "Box him! Don't chase! Control the distance!" But something strange was happening. The more Manny punched, the calmer Master Yamamoto became. He still hadn't thrown a single strike. He was just observing, his eyes never leaving Manny's chest, reading the breathing pattern, understanding the rhythm. Round 1 ended. Manny walked back to his corner, not frustrated but confused. He'd thrown over 60 punches. Master Yamamoto had thrown 0. Yet somehow, Manny felt like he was losing. "He's just running," Freddie insisted. "You're winning every round just by aggression. He has to engage eventually." But Manny shook his head. "He's not running, coach. He's listening. To me. To my breathing. He's learning my rhythm." Round 2 began differently. Master Yamamoto took one step forward, and suddenly he wasn't just defending anymore. His first strike came so unexpectedly that nobody in the arena even saw it coming. It wasn't a punch. It was an open palm strike, aimed not at Manny's face, but at his leading shoulder, just as Manny was preparing to throw his left straight. The impact was minimal, maybe 20% of the power of a boxing punch, but the timing was so perfect that it disrupted Manny's entire kinetic chain. His punch lost all power, became awkward, and left him slightly off balance. Master Yamamoto flowed into the opening, not with multiple strikes, but with one more palm strike, this time to Manny's ribs. Again, not full power, but perfectly timed to land exactly between heartbeats, at the moment when Manny's breathing pattern created a small gap in his core tension. The pain was sharp but strange, not the impact pain of a powerful punch, but something deeper, like the strike had gone through the muscle and touched the nerve directly. Manny clenched instinctively, and the referee separated them. Master Yamamoto bowed slightly, apologizing for the clinch as if it had been his fault. The next 3 rounds followed a pattern that terrified everyone who understood fighting. Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest offensive fighters in boxing history, was throwing fewer and fewer punches. Not because he was tired. He could go 12 rounds at this pace easily. But because every time he committed to an attack, Master Yamamoto's counter-timing disrupted it with minimal effort. It was like watching a master pianist play against someone who had just learned to read music. Technically, Manny was doing everything correctly, but Master Yamamoto was playing at a different level entirely. One where timing mattered more than strength, where 3 inches of movement was more effective than 3 feet, where breathing rhythm determined victory more than hand speed. By round 5, blood was visible on Manny's face, not from a knockout punch, but from accumulated precise strikes to the same small area above his left eye. Master Yamamoto was attacking the same spot repeatedly, not to cause damage, but to create distraction, to make Manny blink at the wrong moments, to break his concentration. The crowd was no longer cheering. They were witnessing something they'd never seen before. Manny Pacquiao being systematically dismantled by technique, so advanced it seemed almost supernatural. Freddie Roach was screaming advice, but his voice sounded desperate now. "Change your rhythm. He's reading you. You have to break the pattern." But how do you break a pattern against someone who spent 30 years learning to read patterns? How do you be unpredictable against someone who's trained to expect unpredictability? Between rounds 6 and 7, something changed in Manny Pacquiao's eyes. The confusion was gone. So was the frustration. In its place was something his opponents had learned to fear: acceptance and adaptation. "Coach," Manny said quietly, his voice steady despite his heavy breathing. "He's teaching me. Every strike, every counter, he's showing me something. I think I understand now." Freddie looked at him like he was crazy. "Understand what? He's beating you on points. He's showing me that I've been fighting angry my whole career. Fast and angry. But he's teaching me how to fight calm." Round 7 began, and the entire Tokyo Dome held its breath. Manny came out of his corner, but his movement was different. Slower, more deliberate. His breathing had changed, deeper, from the belly, not the chest. His stance was slightly modified, more balanced, less explosive. Master Yamamoto's eyes widened just slightly. For the first time, he looked surprised. Manny threw a jab, but it wasn't his normal jab. It was more relaxed, less about power and more about measuring distance. Master Yamamoto moved to counter, but Manny's follow-up wasn't where it usually was. He'd broken his own pattern. The samurai master smiled. It was the first smile anyone had seen from him during the entire fight. It was a smile of recognition. The student was learning. What happened in the next 2 rounds was beautiful to anyone who understood martial arts at a deep level. It wasn't violence anymore. It was a conversation. 2 masters speaking a language that transcended words. Manny would attack. Master Yamamoto would counter. But now Manny was countering the counter, adapting in real time, learning to read breathing patterns the same way he was being read. His legendary speed was still there, but now it was guided by something more profound, understanding. Master Yamamoto increased his own output, no longer just teaching, but now truly fighting. His strikes came faster, harder, more complex combinations that would have overwhelmed any boxer in the world. But Manny Pacquiao had spent his entire life being underestimated, overcoming impossible odds. His childhood poverty, his rise from nothing to champion. Every obstacle had taught him the same lesson: adapt or die. He was adapting now at a level that even he didn't know he was capable of. The 9th round was when it happened, the moment that would be replayed millions of times on social media. Master Yamamoto threw his most complex combination yet. A palm strike to distract, a follow-up to the body, then an unexpected spinning movement that should have created an opening for a final decisive strike. But Manny saw it coming, not with his eyes, but with his breath. He felt the rhythm change, sensed the intention before it manifested into movement. He slipped the combination, not with his usual explosive speed, but with minimal, efficient movement, exactly the way Master Yamamoto had been moving all fight. And then Manny did something that made the old samurai's eyes widen with joy. He bowed. In the middle of the round, Manny Pacquiao stopped fighting and bowed deeply to his opponent, the traditional Japanese bow of respect from student to master. The referee was confused, ready to call a break, but Master Yamamoto bowed back, equally deep, his face showing genuine pride. When they resumed, they weren't fighting anymore. They were demonstrating. For the final 3 rounds, these two warriors showed the world what martial arts truly meant: not violence, but the pursuit of perfection, the honoring of tradition while embracing evolution. The spotlight hit the center of the Tokyo Dome. 70,000 people fell silent as Manny Pacquiao stepped into the ring, his gloves raised high. Across from him stood someone who made the crowd gasp. He wasn't a boxer. He wasn't even a fighter anyone had heard of before. He was Kenji Yamamoto, a 52-year-old samurai master who had spent 30 years in the mountains of Japan, training in ancient warrior techniques. His gray hair was tied back in a traditional knot. His eyes were cold, focused, and absolutely fearless. The announcer's voice boomed through the arena. Tonight, we witnessed something that has never happened before. A boxing legend versus a samurai warrior. East meets West. Modern fighting versus ancient discipline. But what nobody knew was that in just 18 minutes, this fight would end in a way that would shock the entire world. Manny Pacquiao, the 8th Division World Champion, was about to learn a lesson he never expected. Before we continue with this incredible story, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another amazing story like this one. The question everyone was asking was simple. How could a 52-year-old man who had never stepped into a boxing ring possibly challenge one of the greatest fighters in history? The answer would terrify everyone watching. 3 months earlier, Manny Pacquiao was at the peak of his career. At 42 years old, he had won championships in 8 different weight divisions. He had defeated legends like Oscar de la Hoya, Miguel Cotto, and countless others. His speed was legendary. His power was devastating. His heart was unbreakable. But Manny was also known for something else: his humility and his love for challenges. During a press conference in Manila, a Japanese journalist asked him an unusual question. "Manny, you fought the best boxers in the world. But would you ever fight someone from a completely different fighting style? Someone who has never boxed but has mastered ancient combat?" The room went quiet. Manny smiled, that famous humble smile that made millions love him. "I respect all martial arts," he said. "If there's someone who wants to test their skills against boxing, I'm always open to learning something new. Fighting teaches us about life, about respect, about discipline." That answer changed everything. Within days, a video went viral across social media. It showed an older Japanese man moving with incredible speed and precision. He wasn't punching a heavy bag. He was moving through kata, traditional samurai forms, with movements so fast the camera could barely capture them. His name was Kenji Yamamoto. The video showed him breaking thick wooden boards with his bare hands, not with brutal force, but with perfectly timed strikes that seemed almost gentle. He moved like water, flowing from one position to another with grace that didn't match his age. The caption read, "Master Yamamoto accepts Manny Pacquiao's challenge. Ancient samurai discipline versus modern boxing. Who will win?" The internet exploded. Boxing fans laughed. An old man against Pacquiao? This is ridiculous. Martial arts enthusiasts defended Master Yamamoto. You don't understand true martial arts. Speed and power mean nothing against perfect technique. But Manny Pacquiao didn't laugh. He watched the video carefully, over and over again. Something in those movements disturbed him. The old man's eyes showed no fear, no doubt, only absolute certainty. "Arrange the fight," Manny told his promoters. But with respect, this is not about humiliation. This is about honoring different fighting traditions. The contract was signed. The location would be the Tokyo Dome. The rules were modified. 3-minute rounds, but Master Yamamoto would be allowed to use open-handed strikes along with closed fists. No kicks, no grappling, just striking techniques. Training began. Manny's team was confident. His coach, Freddie Roach, watched footage of Master Yamamoto and shook his head. "Manny, this guy moves well for his age, but he's never faced a professional boxer. Your speed alone will overwhelm him in the first round." But Manny wasn't so sure. "Did you see his eyes, coach? He's not afraid." A man who isn't afraid of Manny Pacquiao is either crazy or knows something we don't. In the mountains outside Kyoto, Master Yamamoto trained differently. He didn't hit heavy bags or spar with partners. He sat in meditation for hours. He practiced movements so slowly they seemed like slow-motion videos. He studied Manny's fights not to copy them, but to understand the rhythm, the patterns, the breathing. His students were worried. "Master, Pacquiao is the fastest boxer alive. How will you counter his speed?" Master Yamamoto smiled gently. "A river doesn't fight the rock. It flows around it. Speed without direction is just chaos. I will show him the difference between movement and purpose." The press conferences were respectful but tense. Manny bowed to Master Yamamoto with genuine respect. The samurai returned the bow, deeper and longer, showing honor to a worthy opponent. "I do not come to defeat you, Pacquiao-san," Master Yamamoto said in careful English. "I come to teach you what samurai have known for 1,000 years. The strongest punch comes not from the muscle, but from the spirit." The crowd didn't know whether to cheer or laugh. This wasn't trash talk. This was philosophy. And it made everyone uncomfortable because it sounded too confident, too certain. The weigh-in showed the physical difference dramatically. Manny Pacquiao, 147 pounds of pure muscle, sculpted by decades of professional training. Master Yamamoto, 152 pounds, lean but softer, looking exactly like what he was. A 52-year-old teacher, not a fighter. Betting odds were posted. Pacquiao 1-100. Master Yamamoto 100-1. The bookmakers were practically giving money away to anyone foolish enough to bet on the samurai. But in the quiet moments before the fight, Manny Pacquiao prayed. Not for victory, but for understanding. Something about this challenge felt different from every fight he'd ever faced. And he was right to be concerned. The bell rang for round 1. Manny Pacquiao exploded from his corner with the speed that had terrified world champions. His feet moved in that signature blur. His shoulders rolled. His fists were already launching combinations before most fighters would have reached the center of the ring. Master Yamamoto simply stood there. He didn't retreat. He didn't raise his guard in a traditional boxing stance. His hands remained open, relaxed at his sides, his feet positioned in a stance that looked more like he was gardening than fighting. Manny's first combination was legendary. A left jab, a right cross, another left, then his devastating left straight, all thrown in less than 1 second. These were the punches that had knocked out world champions. But they hit nothing but air. Master Yamamoto had moved. Not backward, but slightly sideways, maybe 6 inches. Just enough that every punch passed by his face close enough that the crowd could feel the wind from them. His expression never changed. Calm, centered, almost meditative. The crowd gasped. That wasn't luck. Nobody dodges a Pacquiao combination by luck.